Two people got hurt, but they deserved it. Because of them, my life got out of control, and now there's two. So what's the problem? Hi everyone. My name is Hank Wilson, and I have anger issues. This group counseling was a court requirement. I am 35 years old. I am married at the moment. I have 3 children, 2 boys and a girl, and I love them to death. Jeff, who was appointed as a group consultant, asked me, "Why did the court make you come here today, Hank?" Well, Jeff, it's a long story. Well, Hank, we're all here for another 3 hours. Your story will take as long as you need, Jeff said. I cleared my throat and started telling my story. I won't go into details about how I met my wife, but I will tell you that her name is Amanda, and at one time I thought she was the most beautiful woman in the world. It all started because I went to a bachelor party. My brother was getting married, and we sent him off with a bang. After all, it was my little brother. I told Amanda every little thing about it. I didn't want anything to come back to me. The party was amazing. It started around 3 p.m. on Saturday and ended Sunday at 7 p.m. It only ended when the police came into the room because of the noise. I talked to Amanda at least 12 times during the party. My brother got married, and they went on a honeymoon. It's been about 3 months since the party, and life has returned to normal. At least that's what I thought. I came home from work, went to the bathroom, and took a long shower. I'm a fisherman by profession, but I like working at the docks. We hang out, talk nonsense, and work. I was just getting out of the shower, and everything went dark. It's like I was hit by a truck. But how the hell did it get into my bathroom? I tried to get up, but for some reason I couldn't move. I looked around and everything was blurry. All I could make out were the 2 figures in front of me. When my eyes focused, my wife and her sister were standing in front of me. "So you cheated on me," Amanda said. "What the hell is wrong with you?" I tried to get up and finally noticed that I was duct taped to a chair. And when I say duct taped, I mean it's been wrapped around my ankles at least 20 times. I couldn't move a fucking inch. "Let me go right now, damn it." "I'll do it after I get even with you, bastard," Amanda said. To get even with what the hell she was talking about. I didn't do anything. My brother and I made sure that we had not violated any of the established rules. They both left. I must have sat there for an hour before they came back. Amanda came in, followed by 5 guys from the bachelor party. I looked up and told them to set me free. Mark has always been one of my oldest friends. I've known him for over 20 years. He was my best man, and I named my son after him. His wife was the only woman in the world besides my wife that I really trusted. Mark leaned over, looked me straight in the eye and said, "Hank, you shouldn't have cheated on Amanda. That bastard knew I'd never cheated on Amanda." Needless to say, they made love for 3 hours in a row. When they were done, she went to the shower and left me alone with 5 of my former friends. Mark said, "Unfortunately, we didn't get it on tape." I just sat there, not moving, until one of the other guys took out the ball gag. I clenched my jaw and just looked at them. Mark came over and said, "I've always wanted to use it. I just couldn't miss this chance. I know we won't be friends anymore after this, but I just had to do it." I didn't say anything, just looked at him and smiled. Mark said, "Hank, let it go. Because if you don't, someone's going to get hurt." Then he hit me in the face with something, and I woke up about a couple of hours later in the hospital. I looked back and saw Amanda sitting in an armchair. She must have dozed off, so I attracted the attention of the nurses. "Could you call the police for me, please?" The nurse was about to ask why when I showed her my wrists. She said she'd be right back. She returned about 5 minutes later and said that the police would arrive. When the police arrived there, Amanda finally woke up. She asked what was going on. I said, "My name is Hank Wilson. About 7 hours ago, my wife ordered several men to tie me up in front of me for cheating on her. The only problem, other than the fact that she proves what a cheater she really is that I've never cheated. I can give you the name of every person there. I know for a fact that 2 of these guys are cops. So if you're not going to do your job, leave now, and when I get out, I can go to the state's attorney's office." The officer said, "Sir, just tell us what happened." I told him all about the party. Amanda just sat and listened with her mouth open. I told the officer that the party was recorded so that no husband would get into trouble. I also told him that if at least one of the guys was making love, it would be visible on the tape. The officer approached Amanda and asked her to stand up. "Ma'am, you have the right to remain silent." She was charged with assault and kidnapping. I told them the names of every guy who was at the threesome. I thought to myself that it was time to hurt. I've been hurt. Now it's time to hurt everyone involved. When Amanda was being let out, she looked back and told me that it wasn't over yet. "You're a lying Hank, and I'm going to make you pay." The officer told her that she was also accused of threatening. I spent a week in the hospital and made a plan to ease the pain. I had quite a few thoughts that needed to be systematized. A lot of people could get hurt, so I have to be sure that I really want to get even. That's why I made a list. 1. They put me in the hospital. 2. They lied to me and put me in the hospital. 3. They used my wife and put me in the hospital. 4. My wife is a cheater, and she helped them put me in the hospital. Well, that's the whole list. They can pick up the cheater, and besides, I'm in the hospital. I'll get even if it kills me. It will be what I have planned. I spent the next week in the hospital making plans. I left the hospital and went to the bank. I withdrew 500.00, and while I was there, the cashier informed me that my wife was trying to withdraw money. She got angry when she found out that her name wasn't on any of my accounts. Then she returned with her lawyer and was told that even with a lawyer, her name was not on any of the accounts. They left in a rage. I went straight to my brother and asked if he knew a good lawyer. He got mad at me and asked how I could arrest our friends. When I turned to leave, he ran out and stopped me. "Hank, what the hell is going on?" Over the next hour, I told him and his wife everything that had happened. They were sitting there with their eyes bulging and their mouths wide open. When I finished, his wife looked at me and called me a liar. My brother told her that I never lie and she should stay away from it. She told him he didn't know shit and to shut his fucking mouth. He asked her what the hell was wrong with her. If she was on the side of this cheater, then she can go to hell. "This is my brother, you fool." She looked at him, got up and left. She went into their bedroom, took her purse and told him she was leaving. My brother looked into her eyes and told her to let him clarify something for her. "If you get involved in this and you're not on my brother's side, then let me know. We can annul this marriage, because you're either with us or you're not." She looked at him and walked out the door. We heard the car start, the door opened, and she came in, dropping her wedding ring on the floor. My brother said, "So be it." Then she turned around and left. The first thing we both did was go to a lawyer. We put my plan into action. This shit will hit the fan by the end of the week. Friday, D-Day, started with a bang. At 9 o'clock, my realtor put up a for sale sign in my front yard just as Amanda was leaving for work. Amanda jumped out of the car and asked, "What the fuck are you doing?" The realtor showed her that the owner was putting the house up for sale. Amanda screamed, "He couldn't do it." "Of course he can. This is his home." At work, Amanda's boss came in with a young guy and said he was looking for her. The guy asked if she was Amanda Wilson. Amanda said, "Yes, I'm Amanda Wilson." He handed her a large brown envelope and said, "You've been served." Later that day, I received at least 50 phone calls. 5 wives asked what the hell was going on, and I told each of them the whole story. I didn't miss anything. I have received at least 30 death threats, each of which I have recorded. While they were ranting, I was laughing my head off, and it seemed to make them even angrier. What I'll never understand is when you use some guy's wife and beat him up, why don't you think he's going to get even? The next day, my lawyer delivered 5 sets of civil lawsuits. I asked for $5 million apiece. I sued Amanda for personal injury and theft of private property. My brother was just chugging along with me. He had a few run-ins with our so-called friends and family. The day of the assault trial was approaching. My brother's wife wanted to talk, but she made her choice, and so did he. When I was leaving work the day before the trial, Mark came out from behind the car and tried to attack me. I pulled out my .38 and fired. When the police arrived there, he shouted that I had tried to kill him. I told the cops what happened, and if they don't believe me, they can watch the surveillance footage. Mark started looking around and saw that cameras were installed everywhere. "Mark, you're such a dumbass." The officer returned with the surveillance footage and asked to see my permit to carry a weapon. I pulled it out and showed it to him. The officer said I could go. The trial was a failure. The bachelor party record not only showed that I had never cheated, it also showed that I was calling Amanda every few hours. Mark and Amanda decided to stand trial together. She was just sure that they would be released clean and unharmed. The judge asked Amanda who told her I was cheating, and she said, "Mark." Mark's lawyer said it was a lie. He said Amanda was a cheater and always wanted Mark to use her. Amanda was sitting in the dock with her mouth open. Her lawyer shouted, "Objection," and asked for a break. Amanda's lawyer came up to me and asked me to talk to him for a minute. "Hank, I know you hate her right now, but can you just let her burn in the fire? Why would I help this fool? They tied me up and put me in the hospital, and you want me to help her? To hell with her. I could have died, so let her fry," I said, leaving. Amanda asked if she could talk to me for a second. "Hank, I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. I was just so angry. I never thought he could set me up. Come on, Hank. You know I have a bad temper. Hank, I know you still love me. Somewhere deep down, you love me. So please put aside your pride and please help me. Amanda, you hurt me. I mean, you really hurt me. But still, I'm going to go against my better judgment and ask the district attorney to be gentle with you, I said. Leaving to chat with the district attorney, I smiled, walked up to the district attorney and leaned into his ear. Fry this fool, please. I looked at her and gave her a thumbs up. I helped her the same way she helped me when I was tied up and beaten, and now you need my fucking help. Amanda was sentenced to 8 years in prison. Mark was sentenced to 25 years in prison. When the other guys found out about the prison terms, they all wanted to make deals. Mark's wife Karen came up to me after he was sentenced. Hank, I know he hurt you and ruined your marriage, but did you have to do this to us? Karen, I know how much it hurts you, but they tied me up. Your husband hit me so hard that I had to stay in the hospital for a week. They and Amanda left me sitting there bleeding. I did what needed to be done. I wanted to kill them all. At least you have something to look forward to. One day he will come out and he will be able to move on. But I lost my wife, my friends, and some of my family. So who suffered more? I turned and walked away. You might think that's where the story ends, but that's not the case. That's why I go to anger management classes. While Mark was in jail waiting to be sent to state prison to serve time, I was arrested for drunk driving. I punched him in the face when we were in the break room. I hit him with a metal tray. I appeared before a judge, who fined me $50 and forced me to serve an additional term. Later on, I managed to get even with all these bastards. 2 of them were attacked during a bar fight. While the cops were on their way, someone happened to have a taser. They both got over 1,000 volts on nuts. The last 2 were beaten by 4 guys in masks. It's funny, but at that time I was visiting my cousin in Texas. So now I'm sitting here talking nonsense to you guys because the judge thinks I have anger issues. They all sat there for a minute, and then they started clapping. I couldn't figure out what was going on. Jeff stood up and said, Hank, you need to learn to go with the flow and not take revenge. Then he looked at me and shook my hand. Hank, you don't have to worry about losing money in a divorce. Mark and the others are in jail. What more could you want? Jeff said. Not a damn thing, I said. Not a single damn thing. During further discussion, I found out that these jerks still got off lightly. The guy who scared me the most was a doctor. All of them had served at least 5 years, and as part of their parole, they had to come to this class for anger management classes. I assumed that the judge tried to explain something to me by directing me to these classes. My brother's wife has returned home and is doing everything to get him to forgive her. Amanda was her best friend, so I told my brother to at least try. I made it clear to him that she chose our side because she could have told Amanda about what we had planned, but she didn't. Karen's divorce from Mark was now final, and she invited me on a date to talk about what Mark had asked her to do. It seems that Mark has problems in prison, and he wants her to kill me so that he can demand a new trial. So she told him about her revenge plan. Mark, I promise you that Hank will pay. I will do it slowly and for a long time. He will look into my eyes and understand how upset I am about what happened. Mark was a very happy man. And Karen was right. I was looking into her eyes. Amanda writes to me every week asking me to come and talk to her. She knows she was wrong. She was just so angry. She even went to the group to talk about her problems. I know how it feels. How do I feel right now? I'm humming damn good. I'm sure I'll be fine. I'm heartless, a bastard and all. But at the end of the day, this is my story. I don't think all scammers should be burned alive, but I also don't think you should sit around, endure, and be a doormat.